Hello, this is David Bestgrove at the Human Resource Center at Pattonville School District. We'd like to spend a few minutes with you today to let you know about our support staff evaluation process, the policy, procedures, and forms that you'll experience as an employee at Pattonville School District. Policy GDN indicates that there's 3 reasons that we evaluate support staff on an annual basis. First of all, it encourages everyone's best effort. If we know we're being evaluated, then we tend to give it our best effort on an annual basis and make sure we're doing the job to the best of our abilities. Secondly, it helps develop a strong, competent support staff. Giving our staff feedback every year ensures that we are putting our staff in the best place that they can be to do their best job. That encourages you to be a strong, competent support staff employee for the district. Finally, it helps maintain high morale. Everyone can take pride in their jobs, knowing they're doing their best, knowing they're being evaluated, and knowing they're responsible for doing their best job. That makes you proud about what you're doing and helps develop that high morale. Policy GDN-R guarantees that each supervisor and support staff employee will receive an annual in-service regarding the support staff evaluation process. Earlier this year, your supervisor received the same orientation that you're receiving today regarding the policies, procedures, and forms involved in support staff evaluation. You're having your opportunity today to hear that evaluation orientation so that you're also familiar with the policy, procedures, and forms. If at any time during the school year you have a question about that policy, procedure, or form regarding your evaluation, please contact your supervisor for further information or contact the Human Resource Center for further information as well. Let's review the evaluation cycles for support staff employees at Pattonville School District. There's 2 different cycles, one for new support staff employees and those for returning support staff employee members. For new support staff employee members, they will receive an evaluation at the end of their 45 workday probationary period. They will sit down at that time with their supervisor, go over an evaluation, and get feedback on their first 45 days on the job. If this evaluation takes place after January 1st, that will also serve as the annual evaluation for that new support staff employee member. If it takes place prior to January 1st, that new support staff member will also receive an evaluation later in the year. For all support staff and those returning support staff members, they will receive one annual evaluation no later than June 25th. They will have an evaluation in conference completed with their supervisor by that time. During the school year, the supervisor will have observed their performance and will complete an evaluation based on the observation for their performance. The evaluation phase of the evaluation process each year is an ongoing process for employee growth and development. This phase is critical to the success of your performance on your job and the growth of yourself as a support staff employee. During the school year, your supervisor, as part of that evaluation phase, is going to collect data to share with you regarding your performance in that school year. There are 3 types of data spelled out in Policy GDN-R that your supervisor may use. They are observed data, non-observed data, and artifactual data. Observed data is information that your supervisor actually sees or observes themselves that they can share with you regarding your performance for the year. Non-observed data is information that they receive from other parties that they have not observed themselves but have had reported to them regarding your performance and your job. Finally, artifactual data is information your supervisor may collect during a year that comes in a written form of written documentation, perhaps if you're a secretary or clerk for the school district, material you have prepared for your supervisor, any kind of written artifactual data they can bring into the evaluation and use to indicate how you've performed in your job for that school year. Let's talk a little bit about the evaluation form used by Pattonville School District in evaluating support staff employees each year. The evaluation form provides the format for documenting data that your supervisor collects in the process of observing your work in the school year. The role of the supervisor is to record any pertinent data they've observed during the year or that they've acquired over the year and record it on the form. That form then becomes the basis for discussion between yourself and the supervisor about your job performance in the last year. On the evaluation form, there are 3 levels for each criteria and descriptor that a supervisor can choose to give you feedback on. The first is meets expectations. The second is needs improvement. Finally, requires performance improvement plan. Meets expectations indicates there's no concerns about that specific criteria or job classification or job duty that you're looking at. Needs improvement indicates that there has not been consistent meeting or performing at an effective or efficient level for that particular criteria, and that the supervisor will work with you, needs to work with you to improve in that particular area. Finally, if requires improvement plan is marked off on your evaluation form, your supervisor is indicating to you that they have serious concerns about your ability to or your failure to meet established criteria and descriptors in the past year in that particular area. Your supervisor will sit down with you and then create a performance improvement plan to address those specific concerns. Potentially, if those concerns aren't addressed and resolved, failure to improve in those areas could lead to a termination or further disciplinary action regarding yourself as a support staff employee. Each support staff position in the school district does have a general performance criteria and descriptor list for that job, as well as a specific performance criteria and descriptors for that job. On the screen in front of you are a couple examples of the general performance criteria and descriptors a support staff employee might see on their evaluation at the end of the year. The criteria, the top one is demonstrates effective communication skills. The bottom criteria demonstrates organizational skills. The bullet points to the right on this slide indicate the criteria that your supervisor might use to determine whether you are or are not effectively performing the criteria on the left-hand side. So the descriptors, for example, on demonstrates effective communication skills involve expressing concern for the needs of others, is receptive to the exchange of ideas, tactfully expresses positions that differ from others. Just some examples of things your supervisor might look at to determine, again, whether you're meeting that criteria of demonstrating effective communication skills in your particular position. At this time, we'd like to take an opportunity to discuss the support staff short form with you. Supervisors can use the form that you see here on this slide to record positive, complimentary information or information reflecting a concern as it pertains to your job. This form is used instead of a formal performance improvement plan. If there is just 1 or 2 criteria being documented, your supervisor can use this form to express concern about a particular criteria or 2 regarding your job performance, or they can use this form to give you positive feedback or complimentary feedback on a criteria or 2 regarding your job performance in any given school year. A short form can be given to a support staff employee at any time during the year to again share positive or concerning information regarding the performance of your job here at Pattonville School District. As part of the evaluation process, your supervisor will conference with you regarding the written evaluation they have created for you. Once the supervisor has put that evaluation form together and has gotten all the information on it they'd like to share with you, they will conference with you normally within 5 days of completing that form. If any other supervisors have provided input for that evaluation, they may be given the opportunity to attend as well and sign in the supervisor's space on the evaluation form. At the conclusion of that conferencing meeting, the employee and the supervisor will both sign the evaluation form indicating that the evaluation form and the criteria and descriptors have been discussed. That signature does not necessarily mean that the employee agrees with the opinion expressed by the supervisor, but simply indicates that the employee has had an opportunity to discuss that evaluation and form conferencing with the supervisor and had an opportunity to talk about that. A copy of that form will then be sent to the Human Resource Center. A copy may be kept by the supervisor and a copy will be provided for the employee. If the employee would like to add any comments to the evaluation, policy does allow for that individual employee to write a written response to the evaluation, which can be added to the evaluation form itself as an amendment or an addendum. Typically, that needs to be done within 5 days of the conference with your supervisor so that it's properly recorded and attached to your evaluation for the year. If a supervisor notices a criteria or an area of an employee's performance that requires improvement, they will sit down and make note of that on a performance improvement plan. That performance improvement plan will be shared with the employee and will also be created in conjunction with the employee's input. A performance improvement plan can have two levels of concern. First level is level 1, that carries no immediate threat to the employee's job but does indicate the concerns about their performance and lays out a plan to help that employee achieve that performance at a higher level. A level 2 performance improvement plan does indicate that an employee's performance must improve as a result of the plan, or he or she may be terminated. So a level 2 performance improvement plan is much more serious than a level 1 performance improvement plan. A performance improvement plan is used to improve targeted performance areas that need to be addressed with that employee. Please note that despite the procedures we've just discussed, if an employee fails to achieve an acceptable performance level within a reasonable time, or if that performance concern is serious enough to warrant immediate or timely dismissal, the employee could be terminated prior to the completion of the evaluation cycle or the performance improvement plan. The goal is to make sure we do complete the performance improvement plan, but do keep in mind that your performance will be monitored on a regular basis to assure that you're making steps towards the required improvement. This slide shows you what a performance improvement plan would look like if you were ever placed on a plan. Level 1 and 2 is noted in the upper right-hand corner. There's also a place for your name, your school, department, and job title, as well as the school year and the evaluator you're working with on a performance improvement plan. Down below, you'll note the general and specific performance criteria that are in question and the objectives for improvement that we're working with you on. On top of that, on the bottom of the form, you'll have a chance to put in your plan for achieving those objectives, as well as a spot for your supervisor to put together a plan to help you achieve those objectives. On this slide is the second page of the performance improvement plan. The appraisal methods will be noted. That's how the supervisor is going to monitor your performance. We'll indicate to you when the plan will be completed. There'll be conference dates between the beginning of the plan and the end of the plan to discuss progress with you. And there's also a spot for you to place your comments as well as the evaluator to put in their comments and the signature line at the bottom. In closing, we want to thank you for your time and attention today. It's important that we spend a few minutes with you each year going over our support staff evaluation so that all our employees have a clear understanding of the expectation and the actual process. If you have any questions throughout the year, please don't hesitate to contact your supervisor or the Human Resource Center. We'd be happy to address your questions. Additionally, if you have any questions at this time, feel free to ask those. We'll be happy to answer those now. Thank you again for your time.